Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions.
Namaste y bienvenidos, amados poderosos compañeros.
Thank you, beloved Maria, for translating.
Gracias, amada María, por traducir.
It's been so... Oh, there we go. There goes YouTube. We're live, you guys.
Estamos en vivo.
We're live. Oh my God, we're alive. We're no longer dead.
Estamos vivos. Ya no estamos muertos.
How blessed to celebrate the love of the Father in this way. Thank you for bringing your holy selves here.
Gracias por traer su santa luz aquí y así celebramos el amor del Padre.
To be the reminder in my mind of the love of God.
Para hacer el recuerdo en mi mente del amor de Dios, del Padre.
Oh my God, how blessed we are, how blessed we are.
Qué bendecidos somos, qué bendecidos somos.
Oh my gosh. Boy, no kidding, Jesus. Your brother is the gateway to heaven.
Tus hermanos son el camino al cielo.
Yes. And I say yes to that.
Y yo dije sí a eso.
So, we're here for the top 10.
Y así que estamos aquí para el top 10.
Look, step aside, David Letterman.
Así que hacia un lado.
Okay, but there Jesus' order is a little different from David's. He's going to save the best for last. We're going to do it all will be good first.
Primero vamos a ver que todo va a estar bien.
Okay. All right, we're going to put our I love that he's so hilarious. Look, he's so funny.
Y él es muy divertido.
That's the first thing, okay? Like he's saying, okay, put your go to heaven hats on. We're going to rocket ship to heaven.
Entonces vamos a montarnos en el...
Why wait? Let's go now. Jesus, should we wait another minute to see that we're all the love of God?
Tenemos que esperar un minuto más, Jesús, para darnos cuenta que somos todo el amor del Padre.
No.
No.
Okay. So the top 10. Wow. Okay.
Entonces el top 10.
I have to trust him some of this stuff. I mean, I did talk to him about this a bit, but really, he hasn't talked to me about this today really so much. So, okay, well, let's see what he has to say. I'll find out when you find out.
Entonces, él no me ha hablado mucho durante el día de esto, pero bueno, vamos a mirarlo aquí con ustedes.
See, but okay, here's one of the things I wouldn't even have on the list. I'll tell you everything you need to know when you need to know it. How about that?
¿Qué tal esto? Les voy a decir todo lo que necesitan saber cuando lo necesitan saber.
So, you don't have to plan. I mean, I did talk to him early in the week because it's fun to talk to. It's not fun. It's, what would I say it is? It's joyous to talk to Jesus.
Es muy gozoso hablar con Jesús.
I said this before, at first it's like, all right, Jesus. He started up.
Como en principio es como, okay, Jesús.
Okay, I'll do it, Jesus. I've told those stories, right?
Okay, Jesús. Lo voy a hacer. Y he contado historias de eso.
So yeah, this is definitely going to be about Jesus, but I'm going to say why Jesus is helpful. Isn't it good to know?
Y vamos a ver Jesús qué nos va a decir. ¿No les parece lindo esto?
But it starts out like that, and then you forgive a lot. This is my experience, right?
Esta es mi experiencia.
Hide in the closet, don't want to tell I was a closet Course in Miracles student.
Esconderme en el armario, no decirle a nadie que era estudiante del curso.
You might squeak a word out about it. Maybe you guys were brave, more brave, but
y bueno, me escondí bastante.
And then, he starts convincing me. I mean, over the number of things he had to do to convince me.
Y el número de cosas que él tuvo que hacer para convencerme.
Okay, and then I think when the mind just finally, it's like, okay, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead.
Y entonces cuando la mente dice, okay, bueno, entonces voy a seguir adelante.
But then it's just a conversation. That's what he's inviting us to. Just talk to him.
Y entonces posteriormente simplemente es una conversación. Eso es lo que nos invita a él.
Háblame. He's funny. He knows where your funny bone is.
Él es divertido. Él sabe dónde están los huesos enterrados.
And really, one of the top things is he's available to everyone. There's no limit to who can talk to him.
Y está disponible para todos, todos podemos hablar con él.
That's the first thing probably, is that in A Course in Miracles he doesn't say the voice speaks to some of you throughout the day.
En el curso de milagros no se dice que la voz te habla durante algunos momentos durante el día.
The voice for God speaks to me throughout the day. How about a good deal for that?
¿Qué tal este buen trato? La voz de Dios me habla durante todo el día.
Okay, so in the spiritual awakening, why would that be helpful? You know.
Y en el despertar espiritual, ¿por qué sería eso útil?
Because it's the voice, our voice for wholeness, that reminds us, look, you're not what you think you are.
Pero es la voz de la plenitud, nuestra voz, que nos recuerda quiénes somos.
It's our own voice calling us out of the dream.
Es nuestra propia voz llamándonos para que salgamos fuera de este sueño.
So do you have to follow A Course in Miracles to hear that voice?
¿Necesitamos seguir el curso de milagros para escuchar esa voz?
No, because now that I look at it, most of you probably look at it, before I was taking the course, I started to hear a voice.
Y incluso algunos hemos escuchado la voz antes de comenzar el curso.
But he knows if I'd known that was Jesus, I definitely would have run and hid somewhere for sure.
Pero si no fuera por Jesús, seguramente me hubiese equivocado.
So that was like the first thing. I had to get over Jesus phobia.
Entonces tuve que dejar de lado mi fobia a Jesús.
Okay. Oh my gosh, thank you, Jesus, for helping me through that.
Jesús, gracias por ayudarme para pasar a través de eso.
So somehow for me,
De alguna manera para mí,
it was helpful for me to learn to hear his voice, and for some reason it's Jesus's voice, okay?
y
That's just what it
entonces de alguna manera para mí era útil escuchar esa voz, y esa voz es la voz de Jesús.
But if I ask him, is that helpful for every course of students? Yes!
Y yo pregunto si eso es útil para cada uno de los estudiantes del curso, y escucho sí.
Can every course student, can anyone who wants to hear your voice hear it? Yes or no? You guys ask, you're Jesus too.
Todos ustedes son Jesuses y pueden preguntar, ¿puedo escuchar la voz de Jesús?
Okay, so it's just one of the plays in consciousness not to want to hear our own voice for wholeness, and we just stick it on Jesus and say no.
Y entonces hay un juego en la conciencia donde no queremos escuchar nuestra propia voz, que es la voz de Jesús.
So we'll probably go into that some more. Oh, thank you, Jesus.
Entonces quizá vayamos más a esto. Gracias, Jesús.
Because I could see that there's an evolution for me, and like, first of all, stay away.
Y siento que había una
To the
evolución
voice.
para mí.
Then it was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to hell if I hear and listen to this voice.
Entonces yo sentía que iba a ir al infierno si escuchaba esa voz.
Devils are going to get me or something.
Los diablos me van a coger.
And then it went to, okay, okay, I'll follow it.
Entonces, bueno, después dije, ok, entonces te voy a seguir.
But, there were times I was following and I didn't know. Yeah, but I still thought okay, he's telling me, I was still thinking I was going to hell.
Hubo tiempos donde lo seguía, pero ahora me dice que en esos momentos también sentía que era ir al infierno.
But I guess something happened when I just finally realized
Pero entonces algo pasó cuando me di cuenta.
what a lot of spiritual teachings teach. There's light.
Entonces que como muchos maestros enseñan que hay luz.
And, I had been contemplating light a lot.
Y entonces contemplé mucho la luz.
And then, just realizing, okay, so if the light's not here all the time, if I'm not in the peace of this light.
Y entonces si la paz no está todo el tiempo y solo tengo pedazos de paz.
There must be a desire not for that.
Debe ser un deseo de que no esté ahí.
So it's like I could read about it. I loved Ramana. I still do. I still just love Ramana. What a symbol of devotion.
Y entonces leí mucho a Ramana, que es símbolo de devoción.
In Advaita, they say that you're invited, and with Muji, you're invited to notice the light is here.
Y como Muji en el Advaita se habla de invitarnos a darnos cuenta que la luz está aquí.
But what's helpful, here are the things that are really helpful for the Course. So I had to get that part, right? I had to really grok it at the deepest level. If that piece is not always my experience, I'm desiring something other than that.
Entonces, pues, para los estudiantes y para mí, tengo que, say again, okay, sorry.
There must be a desire for something other than that.
Entonces debe ser
Peace.
que hay un deseo, si no estamos en esta paz constante, debe ser que hay un deseo por que no esté esa paz constante.
So here's one of the number one things for me, okay? It's all for me, right? This celebration, this gratitude to God.
Entonces, todo es para mí y aquí el número 1, celebración,
Jesus,
gratitud a Jesús, a Dios.
You know, for showing me all the places I was saying no to happiness.
A Jesús por mostrarme todos los lugares donde le he dicho no a la felicidad.
But see, that's the deal. That's the thing about A Course in Miracles. It defines spiritual awakening.
Y eso es lo bueno del curso de milagros, que define el despertar espiritual.
It's a consistent state of supreme happiness and joy and peace.
Es un constante estado de paz, de gozo y peace, joy. And suprema felicidad.
And happiness,
Y
felicidad.
felicidad.
Okay, but what does that really mean?
Pero ¿qué significa en verdad eso?
Because like in the dream, the whole dream's designed not to see that.
Porque todo el sueño es un deseo de no ver eso.
And consciousness is such a trickster when it comes to spiritual awakening experiences. You ask Jesus about that.
La conciencia es muy engañosa cuando se trata de este proceso de despertar. Pregúntenle, ustedes le pueden preguntar a Jesús.
So it's impossible. The light is just here.
Entonces, es imposible, pero entonces la luz está aquí.
You know, it can't go anywhere. It's not doing anything to anybody. It's not beating anybody up. You know, it's
Entonces,
here.
la luz está aquí, no se va a parar en ningún lado, no castiga a nadie.
And Jesus calls that noticing, Muji calls it natural noticing of infinite.
Y Muji lo llaman natural,
The holy instant.
ver el instante santo.
And seeing that there's a light here that's unchanging and undying.
Que la luz está aquí y que no cambia y no muere.
But what I came to realize about that, it's good to see that.
Entonces lo que me di cuenta era que era muy útil ver eso.
Right? Because then my niece saw it at 7.
Mi sobrina de 7 años.
You know, I said, what happens is if you look and you see what's there? And she goes, well, light. You know, she's like this.
Y entonces, ¿qué pasa si pones esto aquí?
The power of innocence.
El poder de la inocencia.
Okay.
Y ella lo tomó así.
And then I love this. This was the humbling, very humbling.
Y esto fue muy humilde.
I said, what do you see in the light?
¿Y qué ves en la luz? Le pregunté.
All is forgiven.
Todo está perdonado.
That like put me on my knees for sure.
Casi casi me puso de rodillas.
You know, wait a minute, I've been studying the Course in Miracles. What are you talking?
He estado estudiando por el curso de milagros por no sé cuántos años.
But it was humbling. It was good to be humbled that way. Thank you, Jesus.
Y fue útil, humilde. Y doy gracias a Jesús por eso.
So the light is obvious. It doesn't go anywhere. It's here.
La luz es obvia, no a ningún lado, está aquí.
So you can see it in satsang.
Lo puedes ver aquí en el satsang.
You know, like you'll get an invitation from the master and he goes, just notice what's here before time begins. And,
Entonces, si tienes una invitación de un maestro y pregunta de dónde está la luz que no tiene inicio.
And if you contemplate that light,
y si contemplas esa luz,
Lesson 44, 189,
la lección 44 y 189,
Jesus talks about it too. It's revelatory. It starts to reveal things. You start to see, you grok.
Y es revelatorio, comienzas a ver cosas, es algo que simplemente lo asimilas.
At the deepest level, you start to see, wait a minute, there's something here unchanging, undying.
Y entonces comienzas a darte cuenta que hay algo aquí que es inmutable, no muere.
which is spectacular, and you may just feel this joy because its natural state is joy.
Y es gozo porque ese es su estado natural.
But because of the play in consciousness, and this is what I keep, here's where the Course, it's like, don't stop until you have supreme happiness.
Y entonces, porque ese es el juego de la conciencia, y ahí viene el curso de milagros y dice, no pares hasta que tengas un estado constante de suprema felicidad.
Because you can get glimpses of it.
Porque puedes tener destellos de ello,
You can get moments of it.
puedes tener momentos de ello.
But as long as there's subconscious content,
Pero desde que haya contenido subconsciente,
even Ramana says you have to clear the latent vasanas, the latent ego tendencies.
y entonces, así como lo decía Ramana, hay que limpiar las capas de los
The latent
vayanas,
ego tendencies.
las tendencias del ego, los vasanas.
Vasana. So those have to be cleared.
Eso tiene que ser claro.
Okay, there's a lot of spiritual traditions say this.
Algunas espiritualidades lo dicen.
Okay, but the thing about the Course is it's giving you, this is my goal for God, supreme happiness 24/7.
Y ese es mi objetivo por Dios. Suprema felicidad 7/24.
Because you'll see it in satsang, well, the beings will see it, which is beautiful. I went up and told Muji, oh my gosh, there's so much love here.
Y lo recuerdo cuando fue donde Muji que había mucho amor ahí.
Which is good. It's holy to see
Lo
that.
que
It's the holy instant.
Es santo, es el instante santo.
Yes, instante santo. So, but as I've laughed about, I've told people, as soon as I started walking to go talk to Muji, I felt like I was in a dark tunnel.
Y entonces, cuando yo iba a hablar con Muji, yo sentía que iba como en un túnel oscuro.
It's like instantaneous amnesia that light and all that joy was there.
Y entonces una amnesia total de que esa luz y ese gozo estuvieran ahí.
Because there's still these desires for something other than what's given by the Father, which is supreme happiness.
Simplemente por el deseo de otra cosa que no es la suprema felicidad, que es que ha sido dado por el Padre.
So there can be many spiritual awakening experiences, like recognizing the One.
Y pueden haber muchas experiencias de despertar, como reconocer que somos uno.
But the question for Jesus, to check in with him, Jesus, is my mind fully healed of all the desire not to celebrate divinity?
Pero tenemos que preguntarle a Jesús si mi mente está sanada de todos los deseos de no ver la divinidad.
Or then I was asking him, okay, Jesus, this is really great. I've been forgiving my brains out. Now where's that supreme happiness?
Y bueno, ya he limpiado mi cerebro. Jesús, ¿dónde está la suprema felicidad?
And you can hear that in satsang too, where, it just seems to come and go. I was happy for a while. And then...
Y entonces lo puedes ver en el satsang.
And
Estás
then-
feliz por un rato y luego...
And then, what the and then is there's still something to be forgiven in the mind. That's all.
Y luego simplemente ves que tienes que aún algo por sanar en la mente.
Subconscious content that's in denial of infinite love.
El contenido subconsciente, que es la negación del amor infinito.
So there you go. It's not saying, okay, you just wake up and see you're one. No, he's going for the big kahuna, all given by God. Why not?
Entonces no es simplemente date cuenta que eres uno, sino vamos por Dios.
So it does take dedication for that.
Eso requiere dedicación.
So the second part of A Course in Miracles, it's very helpful.
Y la segunda parte, porque el curso es muy útil.
It's giving a direct path. Here's a path. If you want to experience this happiness, consistent state of joy, as I experienced it, the symbol in consciousness, Jesus.
Y entonces el segundo nos da un camino y dice, aquí está el camino y Jesús como símbolo de eso.
So here's your playbook.
Así que aquí está tu libro que tienes
Here's
que
this
seguir.
little thing thing.
esta pequeña cosa.
But it does have steps, see? It gives steps.
Pero entonces da pasos
And then it shows how important consistency is.
y muestra lo importante que es la consistencia
Through the lessons, 365.
a través de las lecciones, 365 lecciones.
And then you got through the course and I thought, well, okay, I must be done now. I don't feel done, Jesus, you're not done.
Y entonces, bueno, ya terminas y dices, bueno, ya lo hice Jesús. Y le pregunta a Jesús, ¿ya lo hice? Y él dice, no.
Lots more to see, grasshopper. I'm still,
Tienes más que ver
I'm still
pequeños saltamontes.
still in the grasshopper hopper stage where I still got to learn a lot more to learn.
Entonces estamos en el estado de pequeños saltamontes.
But look, at least we know it's humble.
Pero al menos nos damos cuenta, es muy humilde.
So like, why not speak to him? Like he wrote the book.
¿Por qué no hablarle a él?
He's offering that for everybody. What's going on that we're not talking to him?
Y él lo está ofreciendo para todos. ¿Por qué no hablar con él?
So we'll get to that too, how valuable that is. Okay.
Vamos al punto donde vemos lo valioso que es eso.
A Course in Miracles, sets that one goal out front, happiness, which we can't even conceive of in the dream.
Entonces, tiene un objetivo, la felicidad, que no puedes concebir en el sueño.
You laugh so hard, right? When you see everything he's saying is true, you just have to laugh your head off.
Entonces te comienzas a reír cuando te das cuenta que todo es verdad.
You know, you're thinking, oh no, Jesus, that can't be right. And then you go, oh my God, that's right.
Y le digo, Jesús, no, eso no puede ser verdad. Y luego, sí, eso es verdad.
Okay, it's thorough.
Es minucioso.
It lists, I've asked him this several times, so you ask him too. It lists every single hidden belief from the ego thought system.
Y
right
entonces
here.
nos escribe los deseos subconscientes, las creencias
Now,
aquí en el curso.
I didn't have that strong of it. I could hear him, but like the day-to-day conversation 24/7 thing really didn't start until that Jesus a New Covenant book.
Entonces, sí lo escuchaba, pero realmente comenzar a tener una verdadera conversación fue cuando recibí Jesús un nuevo convenio.
And that was just a conversation. I don't know, something opened when I saw, look, here's, light.
Y entonces algo se abrió cuando vi, aquí está la luz.
Obviously, I don't want it. It's not.
Obviamente no la quiero.
Okay. And then the mind, and then somehow when I started typing, I just started having a conversation with him, and then he just let me in on the fact that lots more grass to look at, grasshopper, just tons more.
Y entonces cuando comencé a escucharlo para escribir el libro, me di cuenta que, y él me decía, aún más, tienes que estudiar más, mi pequeño saltamontes.
And as I've told a number of people, he said, okay, go to the course and search on the word I believe.
Y vaya al curso y busquen las palabras que dice, yo creo.
And then, so I pulled out a whole bunch of them, like 80 of them. Like I was barely scratching the surface. That doesn't sound like very good.
Y estaba mirándolo en la superficie.
And then he proceeded to explain to me how, I still had those things down there in the subconscious mind. I had a desire for the experience.
Y entonces me mostraba cómo aún tengo estos deseos de la experiencia.
It's like I could see I was really asking him to show me, but then as soon as he starts showing me, I could feel myself wanting to backpedal. Whoa, watch this. What's this?
Entonces yo siento que le decía, muéstrame, pero entonces yo comenzaba a decir, wow.
But then after a while, I was like, okay, just give it to me, Jesus. I'm going to look at everything.
Entonces, pero después de unos cuantos guaos dije, okay, muéstramelo, Jesús. Lo voy a ver.
But, then it's just, it's the only way, really. It's just say, okay, go ahead, show me. I'm going to look at it.
Y es la única manera, es simplemente muéstrame y lo voy a ver.
But it's if the target is supreme happiness.
Y si el objetivo es suprema felicidad, ser uno con el Padre.
Okay? And he wrote the book.
Y él escribió el curso.
And he's the one who knows where all the plays are in consciousness.
Y él sabe dónde están los juegos en la conciencia.
Do we think anything's going to get by him in terms of how consciousness denies divinity?
Y ver cómo la conciencia niega la divinidad.
So if that's it's thorough. He's giving you here it is. It's in here.
Es minucioso, todo está aquí.
But now you have a guide who's going, let me show you where all this stuff is.
Y entonces ahora puedes directamente preguntarle, muéstrame dónde está todas las cosas aquí.
But I can see, I could read it, I could go, I'd search my mind, I would just forgive and forgive and forgive.
Y entonces lo leía, buscaba y perdonaba.
Okay, but now I can see, now that he explained to me and made it clear to me, that he guides all miracles.
Y entonces él me explica ahora que él guía todos los milagros.
Is that the ego loves to get involved in the atonement and what needs to be healed.
Porque el ego le encanta involucrarse en la expiación y decir que necesita ser sanado.
So, yes, ACIM is thorough, but if the ego gets involved, look how much busy it can stay with this book.
Y un curso de milagros, miren lo grande que es, así el ego va a estar muy ocupado.
Okay, trying to avoid the atonement using the ACIM, ask them.
Tratando de usar el curso para evadirlo.
Some of you shaking, you can see it.
Tú lo puedes ver.
Okay, Jesus, I had to admit, he was showing me all the places I was getting involved in the atonement.
Entonces Jesús me tuvo que mostrar cuántas veces quería involucrarme en la expiación.
So it's thorough in that it's showing everything, and then you have him to get you right into where the denial is.
Y es minucioso y él te puede mostrar dónde están las negaciones.
Okay, so yes, it's thorough.
Sí, es minucioso.
Okay, and some people say there's 60,000 words that missed it in here.
Y aquí dicen que hay 600 palabras que hacen falta.
But the point of each of these books,
pero el punto de este libro,
is to get in a conversation with him, so he'll tell you which 60,000 are missing if you need to know it.
Entonces él te puede mostrar si es necesario que te diga cuáles son las palabras que hacen falta.
It's an individualized plan because he will individually take you through it.
Es un curso individual porque él individualmente te va a llevar a través de él.
He'll show, okay, right here, right here, right here, right here.
Y él te va a mostrar aquí, aquí, aquí.
So all these spiritual traditions talk about desires of being the core, the Buddha.
Y hay unas tradiciones que hablan de los deseos. El Buda.
Desirelessness is nirvana.
No tener deseos es el nirvana.
Here they are.
Aquí está.
Okay. But it doesn't, don't you just feel yourself tighten up? You mean I got the whole book? No, you just go with Jesus. He's going to show you everything.
Pero tú vas con Jesús y Él te va a mostrar todo.
So he's going to show you everything that needs to be released for supreme happiness.
Él te va a mostrar todo lo que se necesita liberarse para lograr la felicidad suprema.
So he's showing, many spiritual traditions talk about purification is necessary.
Y muchas tradiciones espirituales hablan que la purificación es necesaria.
Jesus in the Bible.
Jesús en la Biblia.
Talks about.
Habla de.
Winnowing out the chaff and leaving only the good wheat.
Sacar la.
I don't know.
La paja de la buena, bueno, de la mala.
Okay.
What's it?
Winnowing out all the wheat, or winnowing out the chaff and leaving only the good wheat. Aventar el trigo.
Aventar todo el trigo, aventar la paja y dejar solo la buena venta de trigo.
Sí, sacar el trigo de la paja y separarlos y dejarlo bueno.
That's what he's the winner. He's going to help us get all the chaff burned by the Spirit.
Simplemente él va a dejar que toda la paja se queme.
Él es el ganador.
No, we're not talking to each other. It's talking by itself.
Está hablando solo.
Okay, so we have to get to the point where we admit
Tenemos que llegar al punto donde
Well.
admitimos
exactly what he says, that we don't know. He's the one that knows where the miracles need to be performed.
lo que él dice, no sabemos nada, por eso lo necesitamos a él para que nos diga dónde llevar a cabo los milagros.
Consciously controlled miracles are misguided.
Los milagros controlados por la conciencia son errados.
So for anyone who's here new and wants to, is just curious about the Course in Miracles.
Y si hay aquí alguien nuevo y está curioso acerca del curso de milagros,
If you're familiar with desires, it is being trained by Jesus for him to show you where you desire all the desires you have except for God.
entonces Jesús te puede entrenar para mirar todos los deseos donde quieres negar a Dios.
Okay? And it's a specific means for that purification to occur.
Y específicamente ver que ocurra la purificación.
The release of a desire for an experience of something other than God.
Liberar los deseos de las experiencias de algo más que no sea Dios.
And when that is released in the perception
Y cuando eso es liberado en la percepción,
that there's something other than God falls away.
Y eso otro que no es de Dios se desaparece.
So we bring our willingness to be shown all the chaff, to release it and stop valuing having all that chaff in there.
Y entonces es estar dispuestos a que nos revelen esa paja y liberarnos de ella.
So we know that's fundamental to spiritual awakening, desires.
Sabemos que son fundamentales para el despertar espiritual, los deseos.
It's an explanation. Here is what it takes to transcend the ego thought system completely.
Y entonces aquí está lo que se debe trascender para trascender completamente al ego.
With the starting point, yes, you can look at this text, but remember, he says, throw out the text.
Entonces, comenzando por el curso, pero como él lo dice, hay un momento donde dejas al lado el curso.
If you get that it's all desires and a miracle to change your mind and you're willing to talk to Jesus, you don't need this book.
Pero si estás determinado a cambiar tu mentalidad, con Jesús no necesitas este libro.
And once you see that what he's giving you in terms of speed has to do with joining, which we'll talk about some more, with your brother.
Y si quieres más velocidades, unirte con tu hermano.
Other traditions call it coming together to see the truth, satsang.
Venir juntos a ver la verdad, como el satsang.
But he's given a direct means. Here's how to talk to me for me to show you each one of those desires and where you think it's heaven.
Puedes hablar con él y él mismo te muestra dónde están los deseos, donde crees que estos deseos son el cielo.
So another reason that the Course in Miracles is so powerful
y otra razón por la cual el curso de milagros es muy poderoso y muy útil.
Because a lot of traditions talk about, okay, you can transcend suffering.
Porque muchos hablan de que puedes trascender el sufrimiento, muchas tradiciones.
But some say you cannot transcend pain.
Pero muy pocas dicen que puedes trascender el dolor.
And that you cannot transcend illness.
Y así mismo que no puedes trascender la enfermedad.
But Jesus is clear about it. You can transcend all of that.
Pero Jesús es muy claro acerca de esto. Puedes trascender todo eso.
It's a desired, all of those are desired experiences.
Porque todo eso son experiencias deseadas.
You can ask him, get in that conversation. You can hear it for yourself from him.
Puedes tener una conversación, puedes aprender por una conversación directamente con él.
Wouldn't it be good to hear it directly from him?
¿No sería bueno escucharlo directamente de él?
Jesus, is it possible to transcend all pain in this lifetime, yes or no?
¿Es posible trascender el dolor en esta vida, sí o no?
He would say it's your function to do that.
Y él dirá, eso es tu función hacer eso.
But when you see that,
cuando ves eso,
and you with pain, it's so helpful.
Y con el dolor es muy útil.
To actually, where he would coach me to look at pain, I'd be in pain and how to look at the wanting of it. It was actually relished. It's like Gollum going, this is fantastic down
Y
in.
entonces él me mostró eso con el dolor, cómo estaba el deseo de la experiencia y estaba el Gollum que decía, uy, esto es fantástico,
This is powerful to
esto es
see.
poderoso.
Okay? Which gets us to the next point, that this is so valuable. It's so valuable.
Y entonces llegas al punto donde te das cuenta que es muy valioso.
It says that all experience is desired experience.
Él dice que todas las experiencias son experiencias deseadas.
This is the absolute last thing that the ego wants to see. That's what it's protecting from seeing.
Y eso es lo que el ego no quiere ver. Está protegido para que no se
It
vea.
is not blocking emotions.
No está bloqueando las
The
emociones.
emotions are blocking the recognition that this is chosen experience.
Las emociones están bloqueando que te des cuenta de que son experiencias deseadas.
And it's going to block that left and right.
Y va a bloquear lo máximo posible.
I'm asking if I say this because I'm going to.
Me estoy
I'm just
preguntando si
sharing my
puedo decir esto. Voy a
The level
compartir.
of happiness in the recognition that pain can be transcended because it's chosen experience and you don't have to choose it.
Entonces, ver que el dolor puede ser trascendido y que es que tú lo has elegido,
That you have all the power
que tú tienes todo el
granted by
poder
God.
garantizado por Dios, dado por Dios.
Who can relax with that idea that pain cannot be transcended hanging over their head?
¿Quién no puede estar relajado con que se pueda trascender el dolor?
That's the message of the crucifixion.
Ese es el mensaje de la crucifixión.
You know, wow. Where's people talking about, okay, you can hang like that on a cross and be totally happy and unified with the Father.
Y
Wow.
puedes estar crucificado y totalmente feliz y en unidad con el Padre.
But the great news is, too, if you get in a conversation with him, you'll be able to talk to him about that yourself. He'll tell you all about it.
Y si tú tienes una conversación con él te puede contar todo esto directamente.
You know, one of the biggest objections
Una de las más grandes objeciones
is all the concepts about what it means to talk to Jesus and what Jesus is and what that body is and all that stuff.
es el tema de cómo hablar con Jesús, dónde está el cuerpo y todas estas cosas.
You know, because I think I've said this before and he's telling me about it again. I have to laugh, okay?
Y entonces él me ha dicho esto antes y he reído.
Because what I said to him is, look, Jesus, I'm not sure I want to follow you. It doesn't look like it turned out so well for you.
Say it again, sorry.
Jesus, I don't know if I want to follow you because it doesn't look like it turned out so good for you.
Y yo no creo que te pueda seguir Jesús.
See, by the interpretation of what that crucifixion is,
Porque no quiero seguir los pasos tuyos, porque creo que viendo qué es la crucifixión.
through the play in consciousness that Jesus suffered and died,
Y entonces que en el juego de la conciencia que Jesús murió y sufrió.
but I'm asking him if I can talk about Gethsemane.
Y le estoy preguntando si puedo hablar del Getsemaní.
He knows I love all this, talking to him about it.
Y hemos hablado mucho
So
de
much
eso.
love in it.
Hay mucho amor en
Look,
esto.
he had a lesson. He talks about he had a lesson, okay, on
Y él tenía una lección
on the cross.
en la cruz.
But you can be sure, let me tell you something, that he had already transcended pain in Gethsemane. You ask him.
Y pueden preguntarle, ¿él ya había trascendido el dolor en el Getsemaní?
Was he sweating blood in Gethsemane? You ask him.
¿Estuvo
Yes or no?
sudando sangre en el Getsemaní, sí o no? Le pueden preguntar.
You know, we have to transcend this idea, the relishing of the experience that going to God is painful.
Tenemos que ver el disfrute del deseo de creer que ir a Dios es doloroso.
And not to underestimate the amount that the ego absolutely loves having a difficult awakening experience.
Y ver que el ego tiene una montaña de creencia en la dificultad en el despertar.
And how much it loves telling a story and comparing notes on how bad my spiritual awakening experience is.
Y entonces comparar historias de lo difícil que ha sido mi despertar espiritual.
But see, if you see that, like when he showed me, Jesus, do I desire a horrific spiritual awakening experience? And I heard yes.
Y entonces cuando le dices a él que te muestre y le pregunté a Jesús, ¿tengo el deseo de una despertar horrorífico? Y me dijo sí.
Then you can bet, I'm going to start talking to him and clearing that out of consciousness immediately.
Entonces puede ser limpiado esto de tu conciencia inmediatamente.
Because if it appears, it can only appear through a desire for that experience.
Porque si aparece es únicamente porque está el deseo de esa experiencia.
So the ego fights the whole time not to see that it's chosen.
Y el ego pelea para que esto no sea mostrado.
And you can ask him how much rage there is over not wanting to see that we're choosing this.
Y podemos ver la rabia que hay de no ver que esto ha sido elegido.
So the rage is to protect from seeing. It's where all the happiness.
La rabia es para proteger, mirar y de decir dónde está la felicidad.
It's abject joy to see that you're choosing it when you take it when it penetrates.
Y es el gozo de no querer ver que la has escogido.
Because it goes all the way down, do you see? And then you see, oh wait.
Pero porque vas profundo y dices, espera.
I don't have to choose that anymore.
No tengo que elegir esto más.
And the universal solution is given by him.
Y la respuesta, la solución universal es dada por él.
Accepting a miracle, which is
acepta el milagro.
So any kind of difficult, I'm just saying it. Yes, he's saying say it. So I'm saying it.
Entonces estoy preguntando si puedo decir esto. Y
It's
dice
for
que
me.
sí, es para mí.
Okay? Any kind of difficult spiritual awakening is a belief in the order of difficulty in miracles.
Entonces, que cualquier dificultad en el despertar espiritual es la creencia en el orden de dificultad en los milagros.
Do we not think we have a loving enough God that he's called us up short, that the only way to get to heaven is to suffer and go through hell?
No creemos que tenemos un Padre amoroso que creemos que tenemos que para llegar a él tiene que ser doloroso.
Wouldn't it be good to talk to him and ask him, is that really necessary, Jesus?
Y no sería útil hablar con él y preguntarle, Jesús, ¿eso es necesario?
Or am I powerful enough to accept a miracle on that?
¿O soy poderoso, suficientemente poderoso para aceptar un milagro en eso?
Do you think that Jesus is going to tell you you're not powerful to accept an instantaneous miracle on any kind of suffering or pain that might appear?
Entonces, Jesús, ¿crees que Jesús te va a decir que no eres suficientemente poderoso para trascender cualquier dolor o sufrimiento?
See, it's a belief in harm. It's a belief in harm. And he tells you, do not communicate that you believe you can be harmed.
Es la creencia en que vas a ser herido.
See, it's the play of the ego to have that discussion about it. When you transcend that, you're just happy. You're not thinking about, oh, I had a really shitty time getting here. You never think about that.
Y cuando trasciendes eso,
So when you see that the miracles are all the same, oh my God,
cuando
that's
te
so
das
much
cuenta que
happier.
los milagros son todos lo mismo
And that you're against yourself in all these things.
y que estás eligiendo en contra de ti mismo y a favor de estas cosas.
And that this need not be.
Y entonces te das cuenta que esto no tiene por qué ser así.
See, you're not thinking about, oh God, this was a tough spiritual journey. I'll tell you that, Jesus.
Esta es una dura jornada espiritual, te lo digo, Jesús.
Do you think Jesus spent 1 minute on, God, that was a hard crucifixion, God?
¿Tú crees que Jesús dijo, mira, Dios, eso fue una difícil crucifixión?
That's where we can't even, in the play of consciousness, can't even see that the whole thing is an argument with God not to be supremely happy.
Y en el juego de la conciencia vemos que todo es una pelea para demostrarle a Dios que no podemos ser supremamente felices.
Do we really want to believe that saying to our brother, and here's what you get to look forward to, going through hell so you can get to heaven? Is that what we want to say to our brother? You have to go to hell to get through heaven?
Eso es lo que le queremos decir a nuestro hermano. Tienes que ir a través del infierno para llegar al cielo.
Wouldn't it be just easier just to go to Jesus and go, okay, Jesus, do I have a belief in my subconscious desire for an experience of hell to get to heaven? Is that down there?
Y entonces sería más fácil preguntarle a Jesús que nos muestre si tenemos profundamente el deseo de que el despertar sea a través que para ir al cielo tengamos que pasar por el infierno.
So the take home message on desires. So I could read about desires, right? Ramana would talk about it.
Muchas espiritualidades hablan de los deseos. Ramana hablaba de los deseos.
You know, and you can read it in different spiritual traditions.
Y lo puedes leer en muchas diferentes tradiciones espirituales.
But to have Jesus take you down there and show you the wanting, the hunger, the itch for hell.
Pero tener a Jesús que nos muestre el hambre, la picazón de esto, del infierno.
You know, like, you know, I could see that little devil. It's so illuminating. That's revelatory experience.
Y es muy iluminador cuando vemos este diablito y eso es una experiencia revelatoria.
I thought it was going to be revelatory, and it is revelatory when you're contemplating light. You realize, you know, there's just light and it's love and all that stuff. That's revelatory.
Y eso es revelatorio cuando vemos que todo es luz.
But the power of Jesus is not only that form of revelation, but the release of all the subconscious content for the total unification of consciousness. So the release of subconscious content, the desires.
La liberación del contenido subconsciente.
It's for the unification of consciousness.
Es para la unificación de la conciencia.
So it's one thing to see that consciousness is whole. You'll see that there's wholeness. There's not anything other than that.
Okay. Y ver que la conciencia en verdad es plenitud, nada más que eso.
But through this energy of desire, it's like it stratifies conscious, if you could call it that. Not a good way to say. Stratification. It causes layers. Call it like layers in consciousness.
Entonces, porque la conciencia son como capas.
So then it hides, the play, however that works, hides from itself the desire for these experiences.
Y escondemos de nosotros el deseo de esas experiencias.
Below the level of awareness.
Por debajo de nuestro nivel de conciencia.
See, and he came in with Freud because then he had a platform to try and communicate this play in consciousness of wanting and desires.
Entonces Freud lo explicaba, este querer, el deseo de la experiencia.
Now, the interesting thing about it is there's a belief that subconsciousness is, first of all, real and you got to live with it. No, you don't.
Y entonces la primera parte es como creer que la subconsciencia es real y que tenemos que lidiar con ella. Y dice, no es así.
You are dead as long as you have a subconscious mind. Ask him.
Tú estás muerto cuando estás en la mente subconsciente.
So that's what's being suppressed. You know, the awareness.
Y eso ha sido ocultado de la conciencia. Todas estas experiencias.
On display is a desire experience.
Todas estas experiencias desplegadas de experiencias, deseo de experiencias.
In the words of Jesus, this need not be.
En las palabras de Jesús, esto no tiene por qué ser así. Gracias, Jesús.
So that's what it's hiding. Doesn't want to see, I'm choosing this.
No quiero ver que yo las estoy escogiendo.
It's not just happening.
No es que simplemente están pasando.
Sometimes you'll hear that. This is just happening.
Porque escuchas algunas veces, esto está pasando.
Look, you have one responsibility, one question.
Tú tienes una responsabilidad, una pregunta.
You can. Is the mind healed?
¿Está la mente sanada?
Squeaky clean.
¿Está perfectamente limpia?
Not an ooch of a desire for something other than the Father.
Ni una pequeña mínima cosa que no sea el deseo de Dios.
And then you ask him, Jesus, do I have all the power granted me by God for this and this only?
Y tengo el poder dado por el Padre para hacer esto. Podemos preguntar.
For only this.
Para únicamente
he says
esto.
Completion is your only function. The other thing, he makes it clear, this is your only function in the world.
La única función en el mundo es la compleción.
He's giving you permission to take this full on, and he'll take care of everything else.
Y él te está dando permiso para que tomes esto y dejes todo lo demás.
So you ask him, Jesus, if I devote myself to you and to seeing the truth of who I am, will you take care of everything else, yes or no?
Entonces podemos preguntar, Jesús, si yo me hago devoto a esto ¿tú te vas a encargar del resto, sí o no?
But it has to be 100% for God and His kingdom and 100% following.
Pero tiene que ser 100% ir por el reino de Dios
That
y el
vo-
100% de seguirlo.
That voice of wholeness,
La voz de la plenitud.
so that there's full purification of the mind.
Para que haya una plena purificación, completa purificación de la mente.
So it's in following that voice for wholeness that you get shown the things in your mind that need healing.
Y es la forma como tu mente es sanada.
So the play of consciousness is to lay that and come up with all kinds of reasons why you can't do it.
Y entonces el juego de la conciencia es tratar de demorar esto, porque todas las razones por las cuales se debe morar.
Because it's hard to hear that voice because there's a desire not to. There's all these mixed desires running around under there rampant.
Y entonces decimos que es difícil escuchar esa voz porque tenemos esta mezcla de deseos rondándonos.
So the other reason why Course in Miracles is so helpful,
y otra de las razones por las cuales el curso de milagros es muy útil,
He's given a specific means to come together with your brother to look deeply in the subconscious mind with Jesus.
Nos está dando el concepto de la unión para ir de la mano con tu hermano a la mente subconsciente y con Jesús.
And then to start releasing these concepts and ideas
Y estar liberando estos conceptos e ideas.
deny secondary gain, that
De
deny
las
Jesus and
negaciones.
keep secondary gain, I should say.
Negaciones de Jesús y mantener la ganancia secundaria.
Now, he doesn't call it secondary gain in A Course in Miracles.
En el curso de milagros no lo llaman ganancia secundaria.
He tells you that you think heaven is hell.
Pero sí dice que creemos que el cielo es el infierno
And hell is heaven.
y que el infierno es el cielo.
So what secondary gain means is that there's a hidden belief that these desires are heaven instead of hell.
Y entonces esto secundario ganancia te muestra que crees que hay alguna ganancia que te da el cielo cuando en verdad es el infierno.
So that's revelatory right there when you go down with them and you see how much you relish some of these experiences and you want them more than God.
Y cuando esto es una experiencia revelatoria, cuando vas y te muestran estos deseos que las quieres más que a Dios.
So, he's saying, look, don't discuss the course. Join a light circle or join with your brother and start looking with Jesus so you can see and have all the revelatory experience around this.
Entonces, te dice, únete con tu hermano en lugar de estar en la discusión del curso y ten estas experiencias revelatorias.
So, I love this statement. Jesus knows where all the bones are buried.
Me encanta esta frase. Jesús sabe dónde están los huesos enterrados.
So now, instead of kind of wandering in the wilderness looking for these places where God, love is denied,
entonces en lugar de estar mirando todos estos lugares donde el amor ha sido negado,
okay, you let Jesus now, he gets to be your metal detector on the beach.
Entonces Jesús va a ser tu detector de metal en la playa.
How many of us would go on a beach looking for gold and we have the opportunity to use a medical detector and say no to that?
Y quienes que vayan a la playa y puedan obtener oro usando el detector de metal, diría que no.
Look, somebody's saying, look, there's all this buried gold on that beach.
Y hay gold, what?
There's all this gold buried in this, all over this beach there's gold.
Entonces dicen, toda esta playa está llena de oro.
You want a metal detector for that?
¿Y necesitas un detector de metal para eso?
Who's gonna say no?
¿Quién va a decir no?
So now we have Jesus going, I'm going to show you where the treasure is. What you think hell is your treasure, I'm going to show you that so you can see where your true treasure is.
Y entonces tú crees que Jesús dice, tú crees que el infierno es tu tesoro y te voy a mostrar eso.
it's so helpful. It's so valuable.
Es muy útil,
me.
es muy valioso para mí.
Because then he showed me, the K coach who thought she just knew how to heal, right?
Y porque para que este nuevo sistema de sanación,
Was wasting a lot of time doing it my way, healing my way.
porque perdí mucho tiempo haciéndolo a mi manera.
And then the other thing is, I see that play, where I tell Jesus what all the problem is and complain to him.
Y entonces yo le decía a Jesús todos los problemas y me quejaba sobre eso.
I'm going to express how I feel and I'm just going to...
Voy a expresarme cómo me siento.
This is why he says...
Por eso es que él dice...
He says, join with me in a moment of light. Does he say, go into and tell me the story of why you're unhappy?
Entonces él dice, únete a un momento de luz. Él no dice, ven y cuéntame la historia de por qué no eres feliz.
Look, we've all done it. I've admitted to it. I told all of you guys that I would say, Jesus, you're just not helping me.
Y yo les he contado que yo le decía, Jesús, pero tú no me estás ayudando.
But eventually I had to see that I had an out picturing of what that help looks like.
Y también me di cuenta que yo tenía una imagen o unas imaginaciones de cómo debería ser la ayuda.
Jesus does not help you by making the world look like you want it to look.
Jesús no te va a ayudar para que el mundo sea lo que tú quieres que sea.
We have to be clear on his function.
Tenemos que ser claros en su función.
Our function, okay, show me. That's
Muéstrame, Jesús, esa es la función.
Our function's not show me, I give it to me.
Nuestra función es muéstrame y dámelo.
His function, I'll show you.
Entonces la función de Jesús es yo te muestro.
Okay, so we go through that again because we're going to forget.
Vamos a ir otra vez a través de esto nuevamente porque lo olvidamos.
My function is to tell Jesus how I think this awakening should work. No.
Mi función es decirle a Jesús cómo debe ser la salvación. No.
So our function is willingness. Show me.
Nuestra función es voluntad. Muéstrame.
Okay, this is where the big fight happens, man. This is
Y
the big
entonces
fight.
aquí es donde está la pelea grande.
The I want it my way.
Lo quiero a mi manera.
But this is what's most helpful. I'm just saying what's most helpful for
Y
healing the mind. Okay?
Entonces preguntamos qué es lo más útil para la sanación de la mente.
Jesus, where do you want me to go?
Jesús, ¿dónde quieres que vaya?
What do you want me to do?
¿Qué quieres que haga?
What do you want me to say?
¿Qué quieres que diga?
Okay, that's my job.
Ese es mi trabajo.
And accept miracles.
Y
left
aceptar
and
los
right.
milagros.
24/7.
7/24.
See, I can see that,
Puedo ver eso.
I give Jesus, like I say this all the time with the course. When I start taking it, I couldn't remember to do 3 minutes a day. I couldn't remember to do 3 minutes on a lesson,
No
I'd
podía
forget.
durar ni los 3 minutos de la lección.
It's like 4 days later. Oh yeah, okay, right. The course.
Y entonces, bueno, sí, después de varios días decía, ay, sí, el curso.
But you'll see. Oh boy. I mean,
Pues,
okay, he's saying to say it, so I'll say it for me.
Entonces, estoy preguntando si puedo decir esto.
You'll see that the fastest way is a 24/7 focus.
Te das cuenta que la vía más rápida es 7/24.
To make your mind
Enfocarte,
available to him 24/7.
Dejar nuestra mente disponible para él 7/24.
4 in the morning, Jesus, what am I to do now?
Entonces, en la mañana, ¿qué debo hacer ahora?
Oh, I could see, 5 o'clock would come around. It's like, Jesus, I'm done with this.
Y a las 5 de la mañana, Jesús, ya terminé con este.
When does my time start, Jesus? I could hear that, you showed me that.
¿Cuándo es el momento de comenzar esto, Jesús?
Or Jesus, look, I've been looking a lot. Can I do
Y
a vacation?
estaba mirando muchísimo, Jesús. Entonces, ¿qué tal unas vacaciones?
How about a vacation? He just laughs. But anyway,
Simplemente nos reímos.
he's trying to show you are the vacation. You're 24/7 vacation.
Entonces, pero él está tratando de enseñarte que tú eres las vacaciones 7/24.
Can you see how that's like a plan in the ego's mind that I could go somewhere that would make me happy?
Si vemos como el plan del ego es como, mira, voy a hacer algo que me haga feliz.
No, he's trying to show you your happiness that just happens to have 2 little feet. I mean, your happiness walking around like this
Eres la
everywhere.
felicidad caminando por todos lados.
But it takes a lot of purification
Pero eso requiere mucha purificación
and a lot of following.
y mucho seguir.
The reason the ego does not want to be clear on guidance is because it does not want to be clear on identity. It doesn't want to see it doesn't exist.
El ego no quiere estar claro y no quiere ver con claridad esto.
But like Jesus said to me, look, if you want to be clear, there is nothing that stops you from being clear on the voice for God, because it's
Y
yours.
si no estás claro, no hay, si quieres estar claro, no hay nada que te detenga a estar claro con respecto a esto, porque es tu voz.
But that's really what the ego fights. It fights the 24/7 looking, you know, it's, oh.
Y el perro va, el perro.
That's what the hair fries. I wonder what that's about. No, Jesus. So the ego fights the 24/7 looking.
El ego va a pelear 7x24.
You know, it's just full availability to the Christ.
Es total disponibilidad al Cristo.
So, and it clarifies, the Course in Miracles clarifies why Jesus emphasizes forgiveness in the Bible so much, you know?
Jesús en el Curso de Milagros habla de forgiveness in the Bible, what? So,
Why Jesus, it helps clarify what Jesus is saying about forgiveness.
entonces está clarificando, el curso está clarificando lo que dice Jesús acerca del perdón.
And it helps explain really what forgiveness is to see that no forgiveness is needed.
Y Él nos enseña qué es el perdón para darnos cuenta que no necesitamos el perdón, que el perdón no es necesario.
You see, you want your mind to go through to get, you know, to go through miracles, miracle-minded, where the miracle is the only thing you care about.
Y entonces comienzas con milagros, 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 hasta que tengas una mentalidad milagrosa,
Okay,
y lo único que importa sean los milagros.
Then you can see, you know, joy doesn't know what forgiveness is.
Y nos damos cuenta que no sabemos qué es el perdón.
You know, yeah, doesn't know what that is.
No sabemos qué es eso.
But it's a helpful symbol within consciousness.
Pero es un útil símbolo en la conciencia.
To free ourselves from the bondage.
Para liberarnos del encarcelamiento.
The self-imposed bondage of limitation, the belief in limitation.
De la creencia en limitaciones.
So, yeah, we talked a little bit about joining.
Entonces vamos a hablar un poco acerca de la unión.
Oh my gosh. 400 times he says join or joining in A Course in Miracles. What is that about?
400 veces la dice la palabra unirse en un curso de milagros. ¿Qué es eso?
Well, it's to be experienced for sure. It's a symbol of willingness to join with Jesus to see what's true.
Es un símbolo de unirse con Jesús para ver lo que es verdad.
It's an incredible way. These light circles are to tune in to hear the voice for God. If you really want to hear Jesus,
si tú quieres escuchar en verdad a Jesús,
you'll see how when you join with your brother in the light, it's like a tuning fork for that voice.
Es como sincronizarte por esa voz.
I don't know exactly how it works. He just says to do it and it works.
Simplemente él lo hacía.
But the number of beings can tell you who thought, I can't hear Jesus, and all of a sudden they're having these conversations with him. There are beings who thought they could not speak to Jesus.
Hay seres que dicen que no pueden escuchar a Jesús.
And then they realize, wait, I can speak to Jesus.
Y luego se dan cuenta que pueden hablar a Jesús y
Yes.
escucharlo.
And can it be a conversation? Yes.
Y que puede ser una conversación.
Is it helpful to have a conversation with him all day? My
¿Es
experience.
útil tener una conversación con él todo el día? En mi
For
experiencia,
me, just what about this Jesus all day long is.
yo le digo a Jesús, ¿qué tal esto, Jesús? Es todo, durante todo el día.
It's a relief.
Es un alivio.
Once the, you know, kind of resistance and what's this Jesus thing and I'm going to hell because I'm talking, all that stuff clears out, you know.
Entonces todo
For
esto se libera, estas creencias de que voy a ir al infierno si lo
You know,
escucho.
because the ego starts going, oh, he's going to make me do stuff I don't want to do.
Porque el ego va a lanzar cosas como me va a hacer algo que yo no quiero.
which is the ego saying, I want to keep the idea of half of myself. It loves that.
My idea of what?
I want to keep my idea of myself. That's how.
Ok, y el ego dice, voy a mantener mi idea de yo mismo, porque eso es lo que hace.
He's going to suggest things that the ego is not going to like.
Porque Jesús va a sugerir cosas que al ego no le van a gustar.
But we're not here to do things that the ego like. We're here to wake up and see the truth of what God already made holy.
Y no estamos aquí para hacer cosas que quiera el ego. Estamos aquí para despertar y para darnos cuenta que somos santos.
So when we say yes to that voice for wholeness, it's turning us into the mind to see where the desire to deny God is.
Y entonces Él nos muestra dónde están los deseos de negar a Dios.
You know, and the ego pumps out like a list of here's why I can't do this and what. It's the one going, here's all the reasons.
Y el ego va a surgir cada vez a decir todas las razones.
The Spirit never gives me a reason.
El Espíritu nunca me da una razón.
I don't know the reason.
No sé la razón.
That's the difference between the Spirit. You don't know the reason, other than it's most helpful to heal the mind. That's it.
No, el Espíritu no da ninguna razón, simplemente es lo único que muestra es que es lo más útil para la sanación de la mente.
So as the mind heals, that is the mantra. That's moving into miracle mindedness, where you're constantly asking, is this most helpful for healing the mind?
Porque para que la mente sea sanada y siempre vamos preguntando qué es lo más útil para la sanación de la mente hasta que la mente sea totalmente sanada.
For those who want supreme happiness.
Para aquellos que quieren la suprema felicidad.
But it's so far out of the mind, you know, we talk about it here.
Pero es muy fuera de la mente, lo hablamos aquí.
It's so obscured by the desire not to experience it.
Porque está muy oscurecido por el deseo de no experimentarlo.
It takes a lot of focus.
Entonces requiere mucho foco,
a lot of trust,
mucha confianza,
a lot of I am determined to see,
y mucha determinación a ver
everything,
todo,
no matter what it takes,
no importa lo que requiera,
and
lo
then
que exija.
In that borderland, he talks about it.
Y en la zona fronteriza, y hablamos de eso.
Because you're not, the ego's not thrilled about these assignments. It's not going to stand up and go, oh, it sounds like a great idea. No.
Porque el ego no va a decir, esta asignación me parece una gran idea. No, no lo va a hacer.
It's going to interpret, the closer you get to Jesus, you can count on this. It's going to
Entonces
interpret that as hell.
Va a interpretar que si estamos cerca de Jesús es el infierno.
So what the ego does, it avoids it and it runs from it and it tries to go somewhere else.
Y entonces el ego va a querer salir y confiar en alguien más.
But once you get you locked down. I don't know. I just locked down. I said I'm not gonna put up with it because he told me I was tolerant.
Entonces hay que cerrarnos a la guía, porque él me decía que yo era muy tolerante.
Don't be. He'd tell me you're too tolerant of all this.
Y él me decía, tú eres muy tolerante acerca de esto.
He's right again.
Y él estaba en lo correcto nuevamente.
So that's all he's going to show us, that we're too tolerant of all this hell we're giving ourselves.
Que somos muy tolerantes acerca de todo este infierno para nosotros.
Okay, so it emphasizes that a speed up to full purification. That's all I'm saying. This is for, you want the full Monty. If you want the full, everything that you can get that he's given out of here.
Entonces, si tú quieres realmente tener la asimilación de todo lo que dice aquí.
He has told me so clearly that this joining with your brother you'll see it, it's the rocket ship. You'll feel your seatbelt need to be strapped on.
Entonces, ves que unirte con tu hermano es el cohete y que te tienes que amarrar el cinturón.
But you'll see that the ego is going to want to do anything to get anywhere close with brothers that are taking the rocket ship.
Y entonces, el ego no va a querer que estés cerca de hermanos que te llevan en el rocket ship.
¿En el cohete?
Cohete.
It takes a village, yay.
Requiere.
It takes a village, it takes everyone. We're all going together.
Entonces, porque vamos todos juntos.
And you'll see you can't go without your brother.
Que te das cuenta que no puedes ir sin tu hermano.
But you may see how much you want your brother.
Y te va
But it's good, it's not a bad thing.
te va a hacer ver
Okay.
que no quieres a tu hermano.
That's honesty of God. Let him take you down there and see where the murderous ideas are.
Porque él te puede llevar profundamente y ver dónde están las ideas de asesinar.
And all you have to see, just see it in innocence. Don't judge it. Go, oh, this is interesting. Look at that.
Entonces se mira con inocencia. Mira, miremos eso.
You know, he'd show me something like, oh, I just, you know.
Y simplemente te muestra algo y tú dices, ok, ajá.
But just get curious. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, but I can have a miracle for that, can't I? Jesus, you'll take me all the way?
Entonces, pero podemos ser curiosos acerca de eso y decirle a Jesús, Jesús, ¿me
just-
llevarías todo el camino para ver esto?
That's happiness.
Eso es felicidad.
So yeah, you have to say no to the ego for joining.
Entonces te das cuenta que tienes que decirle no al ego para unirte.
Acceptance, guidance fully is saying no to the ego.
Aceptar la guía completamente es decirle no al ego.
See, this is going to say, oh, this is going to be really bad. It's sure you're going to hell. I was sure I was going to hell following Jesus, 100%.
Estaba segura 100% que iba a ir al infierno siguiendo a
You know,
Jesús.
I've talked about it before, you
Yo he
know.
hablado de esto
I can hear
anteriormente.
Jesus going, yeah, okay, you're going to get on that boat and ride between these two islands.
Y entonces cuando iba en el bote para entre esas dos islas,
Look, there were immediate but Jesuses.
había muchos, pero
Jesus.
Jesús.
But Jesus, there's one motor on those boat, and I don't see, it's not Coast Guard approved because there are no life preservers.
Entonces le decía, mira Jesús, solo tienen motor.
I mean, you know, that's just what it was. But
Y
I
eso
got on
fue
that boat.
lo que fue y simplemente me subí al bote.
See, the ego it's got its sniffers out for anything that's going to lead to the most amazing awakening experiences possible. It's sniffing that out and just going,
Y
don't go there.
el ego va a rehusarse a esto, a estas experiencias.
But that island that I went to, oh my gosh, I had so many wow Jesuses. It wasn't going to keep me off that island.
Y entonces, pero esa isla que fui era un wow Jesús,
I mean, humbling.
muy
One
humilde.
after the other. Won't.
Era un constante wow.
You know. So that's joining too. That's why we have the guidance worksheet. You can join.
Y entonces eso era unirse. Y por eso tenemos la hoja de uniones.
The biggest challenge to guidance is the desire not to hear it clearly.
El desafío más grande de escuchar la guía es no querer escucharla.
The guidance is where you see the desires for something other than God. It's
Pero la guía te muestra los deseos de no querer ser como Dios.
It keeps you aligned with miracle impulses. Guidance will keep you more in alignment. It keeps you in alignment with the miracle impulses, that guidance.
Esa guía te mantiene en los impulsos milagrosos.
And the ego's not going to be happy about that. It's going to scream its little lungs out.
Y el ego no va a estar muy feliz con eso, va a estar querer gritar.
You know, after a while, just go, okay, I just lay down and say, I'm just going to blow up and get it over with, you know, because otherwise it's just sheer objections all the time.
Sí, porque él va a estar lanzando objeciones todo el tiempo.
You know, Ajasanti, someone sent me what Ajasanti wrote.
Alguien me mandó lo que Ayasanti escribió.
You know, and I have to agree with it.
Y tuve que estar totalmente de acuerdo con él.
A lot of beings say, okay, I really want to wake up. I said it myself.
Y muchos seres dicen, quiero despertar. Yo lo dije por mí misma.
But the willingness to do whatever it takes to know that.
Pero la voluntad para hacer todo lo que requiera eso.
That's what's needed. You know, he just says, you know, they say up until the point where they see their world's going to go away.
Entonces, pero eso es necesario y hay momentos donde crees que el mundo va a explotar.
But you can't know ahead of time what it's going to be like. You have to just shut that out and just go one miracle at a time and get in this miracle.
Y entonces, pero tienes que bloquear eso y simplemente ir por el milagro, ir por cada milagro.
And then just see all those grievances, all the place you don't want to wake up.
y ver todos esos agravios y ver dónde no quieres despertar.
And he's going to help you with that if you
Y
let
Él
him.
te va a ayudar con eso si tú lo permites.
But he's really he's not kidding when he says that lesson, I am determined to see.
Y Él no está bromeando cuando dice, la lección, nos da la lección, estoy determinado a ver.
And God is my one goal.
Y Dios es mi único objetivo.
You know, it has to be that. It has to be, you turn all desire, it's a single pointed desire for God and His kingdom.
Es voltear todo y tener solo un objetivo, el objetivo de Dios y su reino.
You know, because I said all miracles occur at the level of desire, Jesus said.
Porque Jesús dice que los milagros ocurren al nivel del deseo.
And he said, well, someone said, but what about desire for God and His kingdom?
Y Jesús dice, ¿qué pasa con el deseo de Dios y su reino?
Well, that'll be one of the last miracles, of course, but while you still believe in limitations in miracles and you still believe in the world, turning all your energy and focus into the desire for the God is truly helpful.
Ese será el último deseo que hay que mirar, pero es muy útil tener un solo objetivo, que es Dios y su reino.
It helps stay in the earnestness to know the truth.
Eso nos permite
It's
estar
holiness.
enfocado
It's holiness.
es a la santidad.
So we've talked about this in the top 10, which is guidance. The course talking about guidance.
Entonces, estamos hablando de los top 10 de la guía.
Because again, it's focusing, it's returning the mind to the part of yourself that remembers that you're whole.
Entonces es ir a la mente donde te recuerda que eres el todo.
So that you're moving in alignment with wholeness rather than in a way that's going to preserve a sense of a person.
Entonces te estás alineando con lo que es todo en lugar de preservar la identidad personal.
I'm asking, okay, he's saying I'll talk about this.
Estoy preguntando si hablo de esto.
And that is to talk about here. Yeah, maybe he needs to go out. Thank you, Lena.
Gracias, Lina.
I just can't overemphasize how many times the ego, it's sneaky.
No puedo enfatizar suficiente para decir que el ego es sigiloso.
It will tell a story about following guidance that had nothing to do with guidance.
Él te va a decir que seguir la guía no tiene nada que ver con seguir la guía.
So it's so important to make sure, Jesus, is this you talking about this situation?
Entonces es muy importante clarificar, Jesús, ¿eres tú quien está hablando de esto?
It's tricky. It'll keep you absolutely in darkness and have you tell a story about how you're following guidance. Oh my God, that's
Entonces
brutal.
él va a tenerte en plena oscuridad y te va a mostrar y decir que tú sí estás siguiendo la
It's
guía.
not to make you paranoid about guidance. It's to encourage earnestness about joining with your brother and the ones he tells you to join with.
Y entonces no es para ser paranoicos acerca de la guía, pero sí para mostrar que debes seguir, escuchar la guía y unirte con las personas que él te dice que debas unirte.
See, the ego is going to join with the one it wants to join with that thinks it's going to agree with it, that this is guidance.
Y porque el ego va a querer unirse con la persona que esté de acuerdo en que esto sí es la guía.
So the one who really wants to know is going to join with the one Jesus tells them that it will not compromise on guidance. Do you see?
Entonces te tienes que unir con una persona la persona que Jesús te diga, porque no se va a ser transigente con la guía.
But I can see where, oh my gosh, I was so blisteringly mad at someone who was trying to tell me what guidance was. And
Yo estaba muy molesta cuando alguien me quería hablar acerca de la guía.
So don't underestimate how really blisteringly mad you're going to get at a brother who tells you what guidance is.
No subestimes say it again.
Don't underestimate how mad you're going to get at a brother who tells you what guidance is.
No subestimes molesto que vas a estar cuando te diga un hermano que no estás en la guía.
And how you will avoid joining with that brother.
Y cómo vas a evadir unirte con ese hermano.
because of that. Because I can see it. I can see how I was intimidated around David Hoffmeister.
Y yo puedo ver,
Sí.
por ejemplo, cómo me intimidaba estar con David
He
Hoffmeister.
seemed really unpredictable to me.
Porque él me parecía muy impredictible para mí.
But I still would contact him.
Y aún sigo en contacto con
You
él.
know, because I can see, and Jesus is showing me how I did have a continual pattern when I saw myself repelled to from something, I would step into it to look at it.
Y entonces podía haber un patrón viejo donde no quería mantenerme en mirar.
You know, just step into it and look deeply.
Mantenerme en mirar profundamente.
That's so handy. It's really handy.
Eso
really.
es muy
It's
útil.
so helpful. You'll see
Muy
how
útil.
valuable that is to just sit.
Simplemente
When you wanna
mantenerte
run,
y ver.
Do not run. When you want to run, when you want to hide.
Cuando quieres correr, no corres. Cuando quieres esconderte.
When you want to say, I want to blow this popsicle stand.
Cuando quieras volar la estación de la paletería.
Or anytime you've ever said that and you say, Jesus, show me, because it was some avoidance of something I needed to see.
Y cuando algo me dicen, tengo que decir, es algo que tengo que ver, muéstrame.
And that's really the profound thing I can see in the play that was happening.
Y puedo ver eso, la felicidad que había ahí.
I mean, that I asked him, okay, go ahead, Jesus, show me everything.
Y entonces yo decía, Jesús, ok, vamos, muéstrame todo.
And then he'd try to show me and I get mad as a hornet.
Y luego cuando él me mostraba, me enojaba.
But if you get it, but eventually though, I saw that I had to turn into it. Okay, what do I need to see? What do I need to see? It's so
Entonces esto me giró a preguntarle qué necesito ver, qué necesito ver. Era muy útil.
Until I finally saw, oh, that's attacking myself, isn't it? Yeah.
Y entonces hasta que me decía, eso es atacarme a mí misma.
And then I had to admit, every time I was saying to him, you're not helping me, that I was attacking myself.
Y yo decía una vez, no me estás ayudando, y realmente me estaba atacando a mí misma.
Desire for an experience of not being helped by God.
El deseo de la experiencia de no ser ayudada por Dios.
God. So that covers about 10.
Y
top 10,
vamos
yay.
a cubrir el
Anything
10.
else?
Eso ya cubrimos
What's
el
just
10.
that?
¿Algo más?
You don't even have to remember all that if you just go, okay, talk to me. You're the only one I want to talk to, Jesus.
Ni siquiera tienes que recordar esto, simplemente hablas directamente con Jesús.
And you join.
And what?
Join.
Ahí te unes.
But it is a commitment. It really is. But it's a commitment to yourself. You're not.
Es
There's no one out
compromiso
there
a
to
ti
commit
mismo.
to.
Es compromiso a ti mismo porque no hay nadie aquí afuera para comprometernos.
It's a commitment that I am going to see the truth, whatever it takes.
Es comprometernos a ver la verdad, no importa lo que requiera.
It frees you so much. It's just so free. I can see that.
Y eso te libera mucho. Puedo ver eso.
Because otherwise, we're putting conditions on the way He would show us and lead us home.
Entonces, si no le estamos poniendo condiciones a él para que nos lidere y nos lleve a nuestro hogar.
So you can ask Him, Jesus, do I like putting the brakes on the atonement and trying to control it?
Jesús, estoy tratando de poner el freno en la expiación y tratar de controlarla.
See, you want to be working with Him till He says no. You know, when you're
Tienes que
happy.
trabajar con él hasta que él te diga no, y así vas a ser feliz.
Jesus, have I accepted that last unanswered question to see everything you would show me?
Jesús, ¿puedo aceptar la última pregunta no contestada y ver todo lo que me tienes que mostrar?
And then you work with Him until you hear Him say yes. If He doesn't say yes, then you go, okay, show me.
Ir con él todo el camino y pedirle que te muestre.
But, I can't be over. I don't know. He didn't give me another option. Okay, here's your other option for how you're going to wake up.
No, él no me dio ninguna otra opción. No me dijo, mira, aquí hay otra opción para despertar.
But I see the value of that thoroughness.
Pero veo el valor de esa.
And being coached by Him to find every scrap, not a scrap left. If I was not willing to have a scrap in my mind,
y estar dispuesto a no tener ni lo mínimo basura en la mente
See,
subconsciente.
happiness is being unwilling to have a scrap of a desire for anything other than God.
Porque la voluntad es no tener ni la más mínima deseo de querer algo más que no sea el reino de no ser Dios.
We have the kingdom when it's the only thing we accept in our mind. The mind.
Tendremos el reino cuando no aceptemos sino eso en nuestra mente.
So it's already ours, it's already
Porque
yours, it's already here.
Porque Él ya está aquí.
But yeah, if we're on the my way, I want it my way highway,
Entonces si me voy por la autopista de lo quiero a mi manera.
So yes, is he going to ask you to do things you don't want to do?
Y van a haber cosas que te diga Él que hagas que tú no quieres.
But just ask him, Jesus, is this the most helpful thing to heal my mind? Am
Pero
I
le puedes
willing
preguntar, Jesús, ¿esto es lo más útil para la sanación de la mente?
to do whatever it takes?
¿Estoy dispuesta a hacer todo lo que quiera, lo
Because
que se requiera?
It's like Ajasanti's saying, as soon as, it's one thing to say, okay, I really want to see the truth, which is good.
Entonces, como Ayasanti dice, lo único que quiero es ver la verdad,
But
que es muy útil.
it's exactly like he says, you're gonna question everything you think you know about the world.
Pero entonces eso quiere decir que se va a cuestionar cada cosa de las que tú crees del mundo.
But that's where all the happiness is, because all the unhappiness is believing all the stuff we believe about the world.
Porque ahí está la felicidad, porque la infelicidad está de creer todas estas cosas.
But the
que
ego's going
creemos.
to tell you, oh, that's not good. That's that. Whoa.
El ego va a decir, no, eso no es
Sí.
bueno.
And that's where the course students are hitting the brakes on Jesus.
Y por eso es ahí es donde los estudiantes del curso le están poniendo el freno a Jesús.
They hit the brakes because they never get to finally the last unanswered question where, show it all to me, Jesus.
Porque no han contestado la última pregunta no contestada y no le dicen a Jesús, Jesús, muéstrame.
Am I willing to see what I've denied because it's true?
Estoy dispuesto a ver la verdad porque la he negado.
It's so essential, that last unanswered question, saying yes to it. It's essential.
Es esencial decirle sí a la última pregunta no contestada.
It's the willingness to see what's true.
Es la voluntad de ver la verdad.
Does it have to be the Course in Miracles to get it?
¿Tienes que ser un estudiante del curso para lograrlo?
Jesus says, no, it doesn't.
Jesús dice no es necesario.
Look, you can ask him about somebody like Ajasanti, okay?
Pueden preguntarlo.
He's
Por ejemplo, Ayasanti.
It's very pure, but he is not settling.
Y como Ayasanti,
He's not settling for less than what he is. He is willing to see everything.
Él está totalmente dispuesto a ver todo.
Okay? He's willing.
Está dispuesto.
He loves Jesus too. He knows.
Él ama a Jesús también.
That symbol is valuable in the mind.
Ese símbolo es muy útil en la mente.
And it's the same thing. You have to answer that one way or another, the last unanswered question.
Tienes
I'm
que
willing to see all of
contestar
it.
de una u otra manera tienes que contestar la última pregunta no contestada. Estoy dispuesto a verlo.
You can have awakening experience. You can see, and they're beautiful, and you see that there's wholeness.
Y puedes tener experiencias espirituales y ver que somos la plenitud.
I've talked about it, Muji retreats, and I couldn't relate to a body whatsoever. I don't know what that is.
Entonces me acuerdo, he hablado del retiro que tuve con Muji y vi que no era un cuerpo y eso fue muy lindo.
But then it got to be one question. Okay, this is interesting. Where's that supreme happiness?
Y yo dije, bueno, esto es interesante, pero ¿dónde está la suprema felicidad?
And that's why it's not enlightenment, we call it cease to denyment.
Por eso no lo llamamos iluminación, sino negación de la iluminación.
Because I swear it's like I'd watch these sets and I'd go, well, how come the enlightenment fairy binged that one? How come the enlightened fairy hit that one on the head with a little fairy dust and they are enlightened?
Como creer que una hada viene y te toca y que eso es la iluminación.
It's like, do you have to be lucky or something?
¿Es what?
Do you have to be lucky or something to get the
¿O tienes
enlightenment
que
fairy?
tener suerte para ser iluminado?
you have to be earnest and willing to see all of it.
Tienes que estar dispuesto a ver todo.
You can. It's just a decision in the subconscious mind to finally just see the truth.
Es say it again.
It's a decision just to see the truth.
Es una decisión de simplemente ver la verdad
Cease to not seeing the truth.
y de dejar de negar la verdad.
So there's seeing the truth.
Entonces, ver la verdad,
There's talking about the truth, which you can't.
hablar de la verdad.
Everyone can talk the voice for God.
Todos pueden hablar la voz de Dios.
The question is the mind healed?
Pero la pregunta es, ¿la mente está sanada?
Is supreme happiness a consistent experience?
¿Es la suprema felicidad una experiencia continua?
Or is there like dribs and drabs of it?
¿O hay entradas y salidas de esto?
So you don't want to be just satisfied. I mean, it's helpful. There are plenty of those. You'll have plenty of awakening experiences.
Y es útil. Y yo he tenido una cantidad de experiencias
Ask
de
Jesus,
despertar.
yes.
Pregúntele a Jesús.
I had some I didn't even know were awakening experiences, just clueless.
Entonces, y algunos no tienen experiencias.
Like for one of them, I went and had a brain scan because I thought something was wrong.
Y una vez yo tuve que irme a hacer un
Okay.
escaneo del cerebro porque pensé que tenía algo.
That's how the interpretive function works,
Así es como funciona como es la función interpretativa.
It's really not until I talked to Jesus about it that I actually realized, that was just an awakening experience from all the forgiveness.
Y entonces hasta que no hablé directamente con Jesús me di cuenta que eso era una experiencia de despertar.
But the mind will not be at rest because it's the restlessness is desire, is that subconscious content.
Pero la mente no va a descansar porque está el deseo subconsciente de no descansar.
Okay, top 10. Thank you, Jesus.
Entonces, gracias Jesús.
Go for God, go for God. Okay,
Vamos
so
por Dios, vamos por Dios.
do we have any questions? There's just heavenly things you lay at the feet of God, these questions. So,
Entonces, si tienen alguna pregunta,
anyone have any questions?
¿alguien tiene alguna pregunta?
I'm asking Jesus. You can also share what Jesus is teaching you about this subconscious content. That's very holy.
Le estoy preguntando a Jesús si es útil que compartan las enseñanzas de Jesús acerca de la mente subconsciente. Es muy santo eso.
It's for everyone.
Es para todos.
Okay, Lori's coming. Okay. Did we test this camera? I don't know if this camera's going to get you, Lori. Let me see if I can get some light on the matter.
Vamos a ver si la luz y si esta cámara fue chequeada.
Okay, there she is. And can you move that camera a little closer to her so she's closer? Yeah, she's not so far away. Still kind of far away. Let's get it really. Let's see her closely. It helps with the lighting too. There you go.
Eso ayuda
Oh,
también
she's
con la luz.
adjusting it. Good. Okay. Thank you, Lori.
Gracias, Lori.
Can you pinch me, please?
¿Me puede pellizcar, por favor?
Here, I'll give you Jesus. Where is he? Okay, there he is.
Thank you. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Jesus,
Gracias, Kay. Gracias, Jesús,
for giving it to us straight.
por dárnoslo directo.
Yeah, I saw an iceberg,
Yo vi el iceberg
and that percentage that you see above the water is very slight.
y la parte que está por encima del agua es muy pequeña.
And this is the purification that I've been looking for.
Y esta es la purificación que he estado buscando.
Show me Jesus
Muéstrame, Jesús.
together with my brothers.
Eh, Juntos con mis hermanos,
Light circles,
los círculos de luz,
looking when I don't want to look.
mirando lo que no quiero mirar.
Chapter 20 in Jesus a New Covenant.
El capítulo 20, Jesús, un nuevo convenio.
And compared to the course that Jesus a New Covenant is about the yea big.
Y la diferencia del curso y Jesús, un nuevo convenio es así, de
Looking at the desires
mirar los deseos,
is looking at the iceberg that is hidden.
es mirar el iceberg que está escondido,
But there's laughter
pero que está
and amazed to hear Jesus' voice
y es maravilloso escuchar la voz de Jesús.
through a brother that might not think they can speak the voice.
A través de hermanos que creemos que no hablan su voz.
So thank you for this top 10.
Así que gracias por este top 10.
¿Algo más? Anyone else want to share?
¿Alguien más quiere compartir?
Before I turn the camera back. Okay.
Yo quiero compartir una sobre la guía que he estado haciendo con mi...
Oh, I can hear someone in the...
Silvia, habla
el-
más fuerte, acércate a la bocina.
Ah, sí, gracias. Quiero, bueno, compartir y también preguntar.
I want to share and also ask a question.
Okay, let me find the volume.
Okay.
Here it is. Turn
Yo-
it up so we
just
can
a
hear you.
moment, espérate un momento, perdona que van a subir el volumen aquí.
Ah, gracias.
Okay, gracias for your question.
Gracias.
Eh,
Pregunta. Gracias.
Yo pregunté sobre un viaje que iba a tener con un grupo de amigas de que si era bueno para la sanación de mi mente.
I asked about a trip that I am going to do with some friends, and I asked if that was the most helpful for the healing of the mind,
Y recibí un sí.
and I hear yes.
Sin embargo, empecé a tener complicaciones de organización con mi hija.
So, but I had some situation with my daughter around my trip,
Que está muy apegada a mí.
who is very close to me.
Y eso me empezó a conflictuar mucho
And that made me feel in a conflict.
y me di cuenta que yo pensaba que al obtener un sí,
And dímelo de nuevamente, perdóname.
que yo pensaba que al obtener un sí de Jesús,
And I thought that when I receive a yes from Jesus,
todo se facilitaba.
everything was going to be very fluent, very easy.
Y me di cuenta que es un poco como el pensamiento mágico.
But I realized that also is like the magic thoughts. Thinking, magic
A
thinking,
magical thinking. Mm.
magical thinking.
Y viéndolo con mi compañera poderosa,
And see this and looking on this with my married companion,
me dijo que una vez que empezamos con la guía con Jesús,
she told me that when we start with the guidance with Jesus,
es un continuo preguntar por cada cosa que se vaya presentando.
is a constant asking Jesus what to do in every situation.
Y la verdad encontré que tenía mucha resistencia
And I realized that I had a lot of resistance
porque lo que pensé que era fácil se fue complicado.
because what I think is going to be easy, it was quite complicated.
Nada más. Gracias.
No, nothing else.
So is there a specific question she wants to ask?
¿Tienes una pregunta específica o eras ese comentario?
Es el comentario, pero la pregunta sería,
That was a commentary, and then the question
pensé
will
que
be,
si obtengo un sí de Jesús, ¿se facilita?
if I get a yes from Jesus, He's going to do that these things move easy, or everything is going to be easy if I get a yes from Jesus.
Yeah, that's a good question to ask.
Entonces esa es una buena pregunta por hacer.
We have to remember that consciousness itself is an interpreter by nature.
Tenemos que ver que la conciencia es un interpretador por naturaleza.
So what we experience in the world is based on the desires that are generating our experience. It just generates the experience that we're having.
Entonces la conciencia es un generador de estas experiencias que nosotros hemos deseado.
So the first order of business is when we do experience a twitch is to get the miracle for that. Any kind of twitch.
Entonces cuando tengas alguna molestia acerca de algo, cualquier clase, simplemente es obtener tu milagro.
Well, first of all, I would ask Jesus, is this something I need to look at with you?
Y también le preguntas a Jesús, ¿hay algo que tenga que mirar contigo? ¿Es algo que tenga que mirar contigo?
You know, because I always let him guide the miracles when I have them, what to look at specifically. So that's the first thing. I feel like a twitch on this. Jesus, do I need to see something here?
Entonces, ver que queremos manejar el milagro y ver que tengo esta molestia, tengo que mirarla. Entonces le preguntas a Jesús, ¿tengo que mirar esta molestia?
And
¿Sí
I
o no?
do consistently check in to see, was this something, am I doing, this is in guidance, is it or is it not? I double check with him.
Y entonces chequear doble vez con Jesús si esto que estoy haciendo está en guía, sí o no.
Because at first it's like I knew that I had to be willing that if I was doing something that was out of guidance, I would drop it like a hot potato.
Porque cuando no estoy haciendo algo cuando estoy haciendo algo que no está en guía, debo soltarlo como una papa caliente.
But I also learned that just because it's in guidance, it's to actually see some of the things that actually arise.
Y el hecho que esté en guía quiere decir que me vas a mostrar cosas que van a surgir ahí.
Yes, on guidance, it can be like that, where everything seems to just, it's unexplainable time and space changes. It can be like that. Yes, it can.
Okay, say it again, please.
But guidance can be like the most amazing time and space rearrangements when you're in guidance. Yes, that can happen.
Eso puede pasar, que pueden haber las cosas más maravillosas de donde él arregla el tiempo y el espacio.
But it can also happen that you just get shown a bunch of stuff in your mind.
Pero también puede ser que te muestre una cantidad de cosas que están en tu mente.
You know, because I've talked about, you know, various experiences that I've had where I had to check in, is this really guidance, Jesus? Because it really seems like, and he'd say, keep going.
Entonces, porque yo tuve que checar varias veces porque había unas experiencias donde yo le decía, Jesús, ¿en serio esto está en guía? Y él decía, sí, mantente en la asignación.
But it's also good to check in with that guidance worksheet and go, okay, let's go through this and just make sure I'm 100% that I am in guidance.
Y entonces utilizar la hoja de trabajo para mirar, para estar seguro que es 100% que sí estás en guía.
So basically the worksheet says things like, okay, Jesus, if I am doing this, is this accepting all the love the Father has for me to do this thing?
La hoja de trabajo trae las preguntas como si estoy haciendo esto, estoy aceptando todo el amor que el amor del Padre tiene para mí.
Yes or no?
Sí o no.
Jesus, am I doing this to keep guilt in my mind? Yes or no?
¿Estoy haciendo esto para mantener la culpa en mi mente? Sí o no.
If I do this, am I going to experience guilt from it?
Si hago esto, voy a experienciar culpa.
See, because that's all not following guidance is, or we think we're in guidance, but if we're going to, if he tells us we're going to experience guilt for doing it, then it's not in guidance.
Entonces, si vas a experimentar culpa por hacer algo, quiere decir que no estaba en guía.
See, following guidance is always welcome to the celebration.
Porque el seguir la guía siempre es una bienvenida a la
But
celebración.
we also have to see all the objections when we're going, yes, I'm saying yes to the celebration, and then that miracle impulse wants to go sideways through a desire.
Y entonces cuando
an
hay este impulso milagroso, queremos irnos desviarnos, irnos por la vía,
For an unholy experience. It's
por
that
experiencias
desire.
no santas.
So we have to see that too, that it likes the off ramp of interpretation.
Porque queremos hacer estas interpretaciones.
So the guidance is to bring into awareness what is most helpful for healing the mind.
Entonces la guía es para que nos traiga a la conciencia qué es lo más útil para la sanación de la mente.
So one, it's best to make 100% sure that you're in guidance.
Y lo primero entonces es estar 100% seguro que estás en guía.
And then when you are in guidance, you're still, like your friend said, you know, you're 100% okay, checking in. What about this?
Y entonces cuando estás en la guía preguntar ¿qué tal esto? ¿Qué tal lo otro?
And then when you're not in guidance, you're willing to see that you're not in guidance. And
Y
admit it,
cuando
that,
no estás
okay,
en guía, estar dispuesto a darte cuenta que no estás en guía y decir, okay,
that's a little boo-boo. I went a little sideways, Jesus, but I can change my mind right now and get right back in.
y estaba como desviándome, entonces puedo cambiar de decisión y volver al camino.
Like it's like I've talked about for myself. I just decided that, for instance, if I was going to get to fly on a plane, and I heard right before I get on the plane, don't get on that plane because it's not guidance.
Y yo escucho por mí misma, o lo vi por mí misma, que me dijo, no tomes ese avión porque no está en guía.
And it's a non-refundable ticket.
Y no es un tiquete que te lo vayan a devolver.
I won't get on the plane. It's like nothing is worth it. Like the ego go, well, you got to get, well, you got the ticket now, and
No, sorry, I get lost.
Well, the ego will go, oh, you've got to get on the plane because you've got a non-refundable ticket. And all
Ok, el ego va a decir, móntate en ese avión porque no te van a devolver la plata.
But you have to have I had to have the discipline in my mind to say, if I find out, I'm not going. Okay, the ticket's gone, but I'd rather follow God than have a ticket and go somewhere that's not in guidance.
Entonces, pero preferí sanar la mente a no ir a un lugar donde no estaba en guía.
So yeah, sometimes I gotta say, doesn't seem like totally smooth. That's when I'd say to Jesus, you're not helping me.
Y tengo que decirlo, que algunas veces no es tan suave y por eso yo le digo a Jesús, no, Jesús, tú no me estás ayudando.
That's when I would say, but Jesus, am I not following you on everything? Didn't you tell me to do this?
Y le digo, Jesús, pero si yo te estoy siguiendo en todo lo que tú me estás diciendo.
But it was just something I needed to see that he was showing me to see.
Pero había algo que tenía que mostrarme que yo necesitaba ver.
But again, the ego's a trickster, so we just want to make sure. Am I?
Entonces, pues, el ego es engañoso y entonces tenemos que estar seguros.
Never hurts to double check the guidance.
Nunca negarnos la posibilidad de confirmar 2 veces la guía.
Gracias, Kate.
De nada, gracias for your pregunta. Thank you for the question. Anything else?
¿Algo más?
Oh, I forgot to ask you, Lorrie. You gonna sing us out? She's singing us out, you guys. Oh my God, so much love in that.
Lorrie nos va a cantar.
So if you're not familiar with chapter 20, Lorrie's the coordinator. That's that, you know how
Lorrie es la coordinadora del capítulo 20, si no saben.
I talked about how Jesus said, okay, go to the Course of Miracles. Start copying down all the I believes.
Entonces recuerdan que les dije que Jesús me dijo, ve al curso de milagros, copia todas las creencias.
And that's where he started showing me all this stuff like, oh, you still have that desire and that desire and that desire. It was...
Y comenzó a mostrarme, mira, todavía tienes este deseo, este deseo, este deseo.
So that's chapter 20.
Eso es el capítulo 20.
So it's really, any Course of Miracles students want to see if there's any of that stuff lurking in the subconscious mind and learn to talk to Jesus. That's a good one.
Y entonces para todos los estudiantes del curso de milagros, utilizar esto y dejar que Jesús te vaya entrenando es muy bueno.
So partners are getting together to talk to Jesus and check them off your list. Why
Y
not?
mirar entonces compañeros que pueden unirse a ver el capítulo 20.
So just text us if you want a partner.
Entonces escríbanos si necesitan un compañero.
Okay, here we go.
Aquí vamos.
This is called Let Your Heart Be Light.
Esto se llama Deja que tu corazón sea luz.
It's brand new. I can't explain it. Much better than the best country tunes. It's happening. It's here and now. Tender mercies all around. Light is, happiness is. Devil horns released to bunny ears. Love is only here. Love is only here. Let your heart be light. Deeply loved, come closer to me. I am here, nearly always offering arms wide open. Would you share a dance? Would you share this dance fearlessly? Deep your heart be light. Let your heart be light. Let your heart be light.
So beautiful, Lori. Thank you.
Muy hermoso, Lorrie.
Beautiful.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Hermoso. Gracias.
Thank you all for joining with us. So,
Gracias por
Thank you,
unirse.
Kay.
Gracias, Kay.
Gracias, Kate.
adios, amigos.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kay and Lori.
Love you.
Thank